Hey everyone, and thanks for jumping back into the cryptoverse. Today, we're going to talk about Cardano and its native token ADA. We're going to be doing a general market update given the market conditions. I think it merits it. If you guys like the content, make sure you subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up, and also check out the Telegram channel, which you can find a link to in the description below. Remember, if you want to earn interest on your ADA, go check out the ITC2 stake pool. You can find information about that in the description below. Let's go ahead and jump in. So, here we are again. ADA hasn't really done much of anything, right? I mean, this is sort of that ongoing joke for quite a while. But as far as I'm concerned, the fact that we're still at these levels, given what Bitcoin has done, again, is nothing short of remarkable. You might say, well, you know, it's still at $1.30, right? Still at $1.30. It's true. But given the slaughter that Bitcoin went through for the summer, and I mean, yes, Bitcoin has recovered back to 41K or 41, 42K, but most altcoins are not at where they were back in April. Okay, they're just not. They're so far down from those levels, most of them. The fact that ADA is still trading at these ranges is fairly impressive. Now, if we look at the range that we're currently in, you know, I often joke about ADA being a stable coin or saying ADA stands for $1 always. I don't really think, I mean, I think we'll come out of it eventually. But I think that when you have these crazy valuation shifts in the market, where the market is, it goes through a new paradigm shift in what it means to own a certain crypto. You know, again, ADA was trading for just a few cents, 50 or 17, 18 months ago. It's just a few cents. And so trading at these higher prices is naturally going to cause some selling pressure. I mean, you know, if you think about it, the people who are buying it at like 3 cents and whatnot, they're up considerably at this point. So you sort of go through these phases in the market where you might just go sideways for a while. And we've seen this before. Okay, if you were following crypto last market cycle, you'll distinctly remember, there was a phase where Ethereum just went sideways for a year. I mean, for a year, look at this. And I mean, again, as we've discussed, sideways for a year. Now, there were some drops. I mean, from the top of the wick here, you actually had a 72% drop. The thing is it's a little bit disingenuous, right? It's a little bit disingenuous to measure it from the top of the wick because basically no one bought there. And I'm sorry if you feel personally offended by that, especially if you bought at that point. But most people don't buy at the wick. And so while it feels like, okay, well, technically on paper, you could say, well, it's 60 or 70% down, hardly anyone bought there. And instead, we were just sort of in this long sideways movement, okay? And it lasted for a year. You could look at ADA and say, well, I mean, it seems somewhat similar. These are daily candles. So far, we've been looking at it. We've been in it for about half a year, okay? Not quite half a year. So when we look at this, we could do the same thing that we did with Ethereum. Let's switch this over to weekly candles. We could do the same thing that we did with Ethereum here and say, all right, well, technically speaking, from the top of this point, we're down, 49%. But most people are not down 49%, right? Most people have had plenty of time to accumulate ADA below $1 and even above $1. I mean, if you've been following this channel, even if you joined crypto in 2021, if you were just DCAing ADA, your cost basis is probably, somewhere between $1 and $1.40 if you were just DCAing ADA for the entirety of the year. And that includes the fact that we had this brief move up higher. Now you look at this and say, well, technically we're 50% down. But again, most people don't really feel that. Most people don't feel like they're 50% down because they're not 50% down from their cost basis. Maybe they're 50% down from one of their DCAs, or maybe they're not 50% down at all because they didn't buy at that point. But the point is to say, if you look at the valuation of ADA, we've more or less just done nothing but go sideways, which is fine. You think about it when we talk about staking and whatnot. And by the way, I do have the ITC stake pools. You can find information about that in the description below. If you don't want to stake with me, that's fine. Just go stake it somewhere else, right? Stake it somewhere else. earn interest on your ADA. There's plenty of small stake pools that you can go join if you would prefer to support some of those, and I think people should support those. So stake it with me. If you don't want to stake it with me, stake it somewhere else. Just earn interest on your crypto, right? So the valuation going sideways, it's just passive income, right? It's just passive income. And this is something that I think is underestimated by a lot of people. A lot of people say, well, it's not really worth it. I don't want to go get 5 to 5.5% APY if crypto is going to go up by 500% or go down. If it goes down like crazy, it's not going to really make a huge difference. It can make a big difference, okay? And I cannot stress that enough. The interest can make a big difference, because if you're earning 5% for, say, 5 years, and the valuation of ADA goes up like 10x or something, right? The valuation of that interest also went up significantly because the price valuation increased. So if the price goes up, all your interest is going up. It really does make a big difference. One way you could look at it, and by the way, I'm not someone who just says you should just hoard your altcoins forever and never make trades. I think occasionally you should sell altcoins, and ADA is an altcoin. I think occasionally it makes sense to take profits, okay? But one thing you could do is, if you wanted to sort of support your lifestyle, and let's say you wanted to get to the point where you love ADA, right? You love ADA or you don't, like, who really cares? The point is you want to make money on it, and that's sort of where I am. I just want to make money on it, like leave the rest for everyone else. Right? So I want to make money on it, and if ADA is going sideways and you need the money to live off of, like you'd like to use it to pay your rent, you could use the interest that your crypto earns to pay your living expenses. Okay, now you might look at it and say, well, I have a long way to go before I can get to that point. Well, today's a good day to start, right? Today's a good day to start, because as I've said before, I think over the next couple of years, there's a high probability that the entire cryptocurrency asset class's market capitalization will trend to a modest $10 trillion, plus or minus a few $1 trillion, right? What's a few trillion among friends? So if that's the case, then the valuations of a lot of various cryptos over the next several years should trend up with time. And by getting positions in them, by having positions in them and earning interest on that, then you'll basically, whenever the price goes up, then you'll probably have more than you could have ever afforded to buy in the future, because you bought in early, it went up, etc. Okay, and then in the future you're earning interest on your crypto, not necessarily just ADA. If you don't like ADA, find something else. There's plenty of other options. You can go earn interest on Polkadot. You can go earn interest on a lot of different cryptocurrencies, and you can also earn interest not even through proof of stake, right? You can go to these other sort of programs that lend out the crypto and earn interest that way. But I think a lot of people underestimate the power of these rewards. So keep in mind, earning interest is a good thing, and you should be earning interest on your crypto, ADA, and whatever else you can earn interest on. Not financial advice. So from here, where are we? Well, let's go look at the bull market support band, because we are actually below the 20-week, but we are slightly above the 21-week EMA. Now, the 21-week EMA now is at a very modest $1.27. The 20-week SMA is at $1.40. Now, when we look at this, we say, well, where are altcoins right now? Right? Where are altcoins right now? Well, the Bitcoin dominance has been going up. Makes sense, right? Bitcoin's chopping below the 20-week. It's still technically just chopping. It hasn't done anything remarkable yet. We're still not above the 20-week gap. So with that in mind, what have altcoins done? Well, most altcoins have bled against USD. Most altcoins have bled against Bitcoin. ADA is not really bleeding against USD, fortunately. It's still been going sideways. But what I told you guys last time still holds up today. I said, guys, I like ADA. I think it's going to do great. But in these current market conditions, I would assume it's going to bleed against Bitcoin. I don't really care what it does against the US dollar, right? I mean, whatever it does, it's fine. It's irrelevant. Like, I'm not selling it anyways right now. So what's it doing against Bitcoin? And I told you it'll probably bleed against Bitcoin. And I'm telling you that again today, okay? The valuation of ADA is more likely, in the short term at least, I'm not talking about long term. In the short term, we can talk about that later. In the long term, it's different. But in the short term, it's more than likely going to bleed against Bitcoin. I told you that a couple of weeks ago. I told you that at the beginning of the summer. I told you that in the middle of the summer. It's just the way it is, right? You have a Bitcoin below the 20-week. Bitcoin moves up, Bitcoin moves down. you see ADA react accordingly. It doesn't keep up with Bitcoin when Bitcoin moves up. It falls quicker usually when Bitcoin goes down. What happens? ADA Bitcoin bleeds. Don't take it up with me. Take it up with the data. I like ADA. Again, I love ADA. I love earning interest on it. And I think the gains that it's put in are great. And I think the fact that it's just been above $1 for so long is great. But during these market conditions, you would expect this, right? You would expect this. And it's sort of the path of least resistance, okay? Is for, for these altcoins to lose valuation during a phase like this. So what does that mean? Well, I mean, you have to navigate the markets in the way that you feel like manages your risk appropriately. And I mean, I can't really give you any more advice than that. I mean, if you want to buy ADA, buy ADA. If you want to sell ADA, sell ADA. But its USD valuation is holding up relatively well over the last 6 months. Okay, you can earn interest on it. You can earn rewards. I'm telling you, I expect ADA Bitcoin to bleed. I've been saying it all summer. I would expect it to bleed. Now, any given day, or maybe a week or two, maybe it goes up. And then everyone says, well, you said it's still more likely to bleed than not. Okay, so right now it's down 37%. And I mean, it might be worth keeping an eye on. I mean, at some point the momentum will shift. And my guess is the momentum won't shift until Bitcoin's back above the 20-week. So this is the same contention all along, right? I mean, Bitcoin's below the 20-week right now. And that's one major reason I don't see ADA gaining against Bitcoin. I just don't. Now, if we had some type of major capitulation event or something by Bitcoin, and altcoins just like kicks the bucket, then at that point I'd say, okay, well now they can outperform Bitcoin even if Bitcoin's below the 20-week. But when you have Bitcoin just sort of chopping sideways below the 20-week, and I mean, yeah, these last 2 weeks are up, but still, it's sort of technically still sideways, I would say, until we really break above the 20-week. When you have this type of price action, you cannot expect most altcoins are just going to bleed. And this was the path of least resistance for the entire summer. And until the market conditions change, I don't see that changing. Now, what's more interesting is to look at ADA Ether, okay? And this is one that is held up, to be completely honest, it held up better than I thought it would. But right now, we've come back down to sort of test some of these prior local top, this region that we've hit before. So that might be something to look out for, okay? Because if we go back below it, if we go back down here, then I mean, that would be a huge opportunity if we go back down there. We're sort of in no man's land at this point. I mean, this used to be the local top region, but then back in January, I told you guys, if ADA could theoretically go above these valuations against Ethereum, these would be the market conditions that allow it to do it, okay? And we were able to go above it. So right now we're sort of in between. We're not at any clear path, whether it's up or down. I don't really know, just being completely honest. I do think though that ADA will bleed against Bitcoin, and that's more likely to continue happening until there's some type of market change, like structure in the market differentiate. Like, something needs to happen, right? Bitcoin either needs to get above the 20-week and calm down, and needs to have a major capitulation event, and then altcoins spring back up. That's what needs to happen, in my opinion, for altcoins to have a sustained move against Bitcoin. Until that happens, this is the path of least resistance, and you'll see that fairly well. I mean, you'll see that shown in the Bitcoin dominance. Now, of course, you could draw a line and say, well, I mean, maybe we're getting close. I don't know. It's really hard. It's really hard to time these things. So at your own risk, right? At your own risk. But anyways, hopefully this video has been informative. We'll keep an eye on ADA. I mean, it's more or less been in this sideways movement for, basically since January or February. And we still have a long way to go, because we still don't have Bitcoin above the 20-week. We still need to see that. A lot could happen between now and then. So if you guys like the content, make sure you subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up. Also check out the sale on the premium list. You can find a link to that in the description below if you want to know how I'm navigating these markets. Make sure you click the bell icon to turn on notifications. Subscribe. Let's get to 500,000 subscribers. Let's see if ADA can get back above the 20-week and stay strong. In order to do so, we'd like to see Bitcoin stay strong. See you next time. Bye.